Welcome, everyone, at Allianz Arena. Bayern Munich is looking forward to the second round of fixtures against Galatasaray Istanbul tomorrow, 2 weeks after our victory at the Bosporus. So welcome to the press conference, and we're happy to have Manuel Neuer here with us on the stage. Welcome back to the Champions League. So I'll start with the questions. Two questions. First, considering when you will play Champions League tomorrow, you will have played every cup competition since you returned. How is your body coping with the load? It looks from the outside like you're all right. You're safe against Royce. Looked very fine. So are you back to normal? And then how did you experience the situation with the coach and his argument with the pundits? How did the team receive it? Yeah, hello everyone. Well, first of all, I'm very happy to have played my first games again, and I'm happy that it came out all right. Obviously, the body is reacting to it, which is completely normal after such a long and heavy injury and after this long layoff. But I can only say that I am absolutely feeling very well before the games, and then after the games I have to go to the therapist again and take care of my body. But I'm absolutely looking forward to donning the Champions League jersey again and play in front of our own fans against Galatasaray. And so far I coped with it pretty nicely. Obviously I feel a couple of things still, but that is normal. But as far as the first games turned out, I was really happy to take it that way. And to us as a team, it wasn't a huge topic. Obviously, we got notice from it, and we had one practice after that. But on the evening at Dortmund, we didn't really learn anything about it. We were just celebrating that great victory against Dortmund, and obviously the coach was a huge part of it. And we knew what type of game we had delivered, and the coach really prepared us very well for that game. We were highly motivated, and we were absolutely happy about the victory. I would like to ask a question about your small things that you still have to work on. How did this injury change your sporting life? You were riding your bike, you were skiing and everything. Are you banning yourself from those exercises, or? Well, at this time I got my task at Sebener Straße. I have to work on going into the practice sessions well, and on those off days it's good for me to have those things like cycling, for example, to get everything working in the leg and to get those fluids transported away from it. So this is a very important thing for me as far as my body and my mind is concerned. And so when there is a little bit of fluid in there, it's important to get this transported away, and that everything is working out nicely. Mr. Neuer, with all the discussion at the weekend, the question was, how good is Bayern Munich really? What is your evaluation? The Champions League is running according to plan. The Bundesliga is all right. Now it's about the cup. And the performances in 19 minutes are not really constantly delivered. Where is Bayern Munich standing at this time? Well, you were just talking about the game on Saturday, where we were really performing very well. And we had the spaces to play against Dortmund. We were building up play good. We were playing concentrated and from the start. And so it was very important that we were at a high concentration level and we didn't have any easy errors at the back in order to really have the danger to concede or to get under pressure in the first minutes. We felt it in the second half and 10-15 minutes when we were not really performing on the highest level, but that's pretty normal against an opponent like that, but we were playing better than we did in the past. And so we just grabbed the situation against a really good opponent to get a really great victory. So as far as our season is concerned, apart from the cup exit, we are absolutely where we want to be. Mr. Neuer, one can see you blossoming after the Darmstadt game, for example. You were really feeling well, but you were talking about problems you had. Was it psychologically even more difficult because it wasn't an injury that you received while you were playing football? No, an injury is just an injury, but I had those emotional setbacks as well with my foot injury that I had prior to that, and you're always waiting for the green light to continue to be playing again on the pitch, and that was a really difficult injury, and I'm completely happy that I'm able to play football at all again, and so I'm really happy to play with my team and be with them on the pitch and deliver my performance.
Schönen Tag. Nach so einer Verletzung.
After an injury like that,
Icardi, eines der besten Torschützen
Icardi, one of the best goal scorers in Europe this time. Have you been preparing for him, for Mr. Icardi especially? So now I got the name, thank you. Well, we know that Mauro Icardi is a really great player who is unpredictable, who can shoot very quickly. He has that notch and is a very emotional player as well. And he's just someone to create things. You could see that at the penalty against Olev, for example. He's without fear, he's very brave, and he can score with both feet. So he's an instinctive player, and inside of the box, he's a really strong striker. So I know what we have to expect. Our central defenders, our defenders in general know it, so we have to keep an eye on him and try to defend him as well as possible.
Hallo Manu. Julian
Nagelsmann will nominate the players for the international break. Have you spoken to him and what are your plans? And the second question, Joshua Kimmich will be available again. A lot has been discussed and a lot of criticism has been aimed towards him. The question is Bayern Munich without him even better than with him? The second question, I can only say a lot of discussion is going on all the time. But if I was to choose a team and I had Jo available, I would always like him in my team. That is a fact for me. I'm an absolute fan. He's a leader. He is a player on the pitch who always wants to win. And I'm always feeling well with him on the pitch. And the other question with the national team, obviously, we are talking. We've been talking for quite a while. Andreas Cronenberg, the goalkeeping coach of the national team, and we were talking after the Dortmund game as well. And the fact is that I will not travel to the national team. I will use the time for me, which has medical backgrounds. It's a bit too early. We have lots of games coming up, and so till the winter break, there's a lot going on, and so it's good for me to really lick my wounds in a way and to concentrate on myself. And we were talking openly about all the things, and we are happy to and looking forward to the next year, and I will give all for that goal. Manu, you were talking about issues with your body, the reaction in your foot, and what is there still a thing? What are we talking about here? And I know about the good relationship between you and Ole. How do you feel if you see that he was a really good replacement for you, but now he's stepping back into the second row again? Well, things can go quickly all the time. We don't know what's going to happen in the future, how I will cope with the workload. And we know that if I cannot make it, Ole will be there right away. And I've said it times again that I was the biggest Ole fan in the past, and it's not just since that season that he was a really good stand-in goalkeeper. It's been that way for a couple of years now, and we are really very happy to have him as a person and as a player in our team. So about the medical issues, well, here and there, a couple of things in our age. Question about the national team in March. Would that be maybe something for you to travel to the team but still sit on the bench? You were talking about Marc-André ter Stegen being the number one. Is that still the case? And has your mindset changed as far as how long you want to keep on playing? You were saying till 40. No, I never said that. But anyways, well, maybe you said you didn't really say you don't want to do it. How is your mindset about it? Well, first up, everything that comes along now is a bonus for me after the severeness of that injury, but I'm really eager and competitive, and I will always try to play, and I will give the team everything I can. And so it doesn't matter which team it is, I will always want to be on a pitch. Thank you very much, Manu, and we'll be right back with the coach. So we're back with our head coach Thomas Tuchel. He's ready for all the questions. Let's start. Hello, Mr. Tuchel. The first question, how did the players cope with the game on Saturday, especially the Upamecano and Goretzka? Will they be available for tomorrow? Well, I hope so. We haven't practiced on Sunday. Then yesterday it was the second day after the game. We had a slow practice session. The first reaction was very positive from both of them, which was important. We were sticking to the plan with Upa. Leon didn't have a fitness issue. He just has to cope with that cast, which is always additional weight and additional strain. But we have to wait for the final practice, but I expect them to be available because we have 3 days in between the games, which will give Upa enough possibility to regenerate. So Mata de Ligt will be out. Apart from him, we'll plan with everybody else, but Rafa, it's maybe a bit too early for him, so the aim is to have him available for Heidenheim. Hello, Mr. Tuchel. Jo Kimmich will not be available for the game against Heidenheim. Are you thinking, in order to keep the rhythm intact, to not have Jo Kimmich in the team? Manuel Neuer just said that if he's available, he always wants to have Jo Kimmich in the team. Well, same with me. He's a complete regular in our team. And in my plans, he will play tomorrow, which is completely normal. Other than that, this gives us additional possibility, as we know that he's not eligible to play on Saturday, to have someone save time for Saturday. But that is not out of question. Jos will play, he will show his qualities, and if nothing else happens, he will play tomorrow. Hello, Mr. Tuchel. The question also about Kimmich in central defense with Lima and Goretzka. They really were performing well against Dortmund. If Kimmich plays tomorrow, will that be a change at the holding midfield role, or will he play at the right back position? And the second question, it's a bit strange to have the press conference early and then the practice. Is that by chance? Well, both of it. It's not just by chance. We win a little bit of time to regenerate, and I prefer practicing late if we have a late game, so the time in between the practice and the video session, we don't have that much distance in between those and the game. At this time, we feel better in that rhythm to not practice early on game days, to just have a short activation. And that's why we practice in the afternoon today. I have to say, yes, it was the best team effort that we had, over 90 minutes so far against Dortmund. And that is the same with our midfield players. I said prior to the season that it would be better for our team to not have many changes, to have players really stick to their positions. And one thing with our good offensive game is that we pretty much have the same players all the time who know each other well, who know what the other one is doing. But with our injury problems in defense, it's a bit more difficult. So we have to change more often. So our deep possession has some issues. Then we have Manu coming back, and we change formations pretty often in defense and at the holding midfield role, because Kani had to play at the right back every now and then, and this will stay that way at least till the winter. And even though we have the wish to keep the same 11 play all the time, we have to be smart because we have the next game on Saturday. We want to win that game as well. And if UPA plays tomorrow, we only have 2 days to react to the next game, because I don't think that UPA will be able to play on Saturday as well as if he plays tonight. So unfortunately, there are more questions to answer than just to keep it the way it is, because it just was going well. So, and Gala plays completely different than Dortmund. And hopefully we will find easy answers to difficult questions in order to win the game tomorrow. Çiğdem Ünal from TV2 Sport. At the weekend, at the Classic, you were really playing well. Your players are well in form. How did you prepare for the game against Galatasaray? In contrast to the first game, do you believe that Okan Buruk will have a couple of surprises for you? Well, we had enough problems in the first game in order to learn from them. Galatasaray was really playing well, not only because they played at home, but because they really played with high intensity and brave. They were almost all the first 70 minutes playing man against man defense. They were defending forward. They were sprinting quite often, so we had to cope with the pressure. So we have to make things better this time. I don't know whether that loss in the first game will change their style. I don't think so. It was a completely even game, and I expect the same that we've seen from them away, and that means high intensity. And I was just talking to colleagues of you. It reminds me of the team from Atalanta from a couple of years ago when they had the run in the Champions League. That was also very difficult and complicated to play against a team like that, because it was extraordinary in a way. And so tomorrow we need precision, we need lots of movement on the ball, and we have to be very structured. And obviously we want to take the good things from Dortmund, our speed and our play going forward. So I'm expecting a very intensive game, a difficult game, and we have to learn from the game from 2 weeks ago. Looking back from the last weekend, with a couple of days gone by, where you're feeling sorry for your team, that not too much has been talked about the performance of your team, but more of the surroundings. And are you talking about the interviews afterwards and beforehand? No, that's all spontaneous and it's authentic. I'm just too old for it. Dieter's giving me a briefing, and with all the things that he's telling me, I know that those will not be a topic, because you will be asking me different questions, and you will always get my opinion and my answers right away. And I don't feel sorry for my team, because I don't know how much praise they have received, but they have been given their feedback on the pitch and been given the feedback from us as well, and they know themselves that they were really delivering a top performance, and it's going to stay that way. We have to be independent from the criticism or the praise from outside. I was just not happy with one particular report, and if you know about, or if you've looked at my other interviews, you know that we were talking about the topic at hand, and so everything is all right. In the Champions League, we've seen in this season that every team can win against every other team. It was difficult against Copenhagen as well. Galatasaray against Bayern in the first 70 minutes. Galatasaray was playing really well. Were you angry, or did you fear after those first 70 minutes, and what do you expect from tomorrow? No, we didn't really fear anything, but it was a very intensive game, a game where we were forced to make a couple of errors because of the intensity of our opponents. They were really playing with high velocity as well, and with the ball and against the ball. And we had our moments to hurt Galatasaray, but it took us a while. Our second half was much better than the first. We were getting into duels better. We were better in transition. After winning the ball, we found better solutions. And then our game went better, and Galatasaray was getting tired a bit because they didn't have the affirmation of another goal, and then we were efficient enough to win the game. And obviously we were lucky as well, but that's part of it. You were talking about Copenhagen. I only know difficult away games in the Champions League. The quality is getting better, and teams that are the underdog prior to a game, they create that cup atmosphere, and they use this atmosphere in order to grow in a game. And I expect a really good crowd tomorrow for Galatasaray as well. I don't know whether that will be your ordinary home game for us. And we have to learn from it. We have to move a lot with our own possession. We have to have the clear situations, make good decisions, and really get an idea when to speed things up, when to be in transition. And then we have to be ready for the duels from the word go in order to replicate our performance in the second half, because then it will be difficult to play against us as well. But we expect a really intense and even game tomorrow. Manuel Neuer was just sitting on the podium, and he said that he's not going to travel to the national team, that he has a couple of issues still. It's going to be his fourth game, if I'm not mistaken, tomorrow. What would you say? Is he's back 100%? And what is his impact with the team, and how did he cope with the first games that he had? Well, it's sensational. We really didn't know whether he will be ready for midweek games after the Darmstadt games, but because he has those reactions after almost a year out, he has small reactions, but they're just small enough to get over them towards the next game. And the way he plays is something we cannot rate highly enough. It's just sensationally good. He is really loose. He absolutely knows that it is a bonus at this time, and if he stays that way, then he will get to his old strength again, maybe even better. At this time, he has not reached his limit yet, but those are incredible first steps. He gives us the stability, the calmness. He leads with his own way, very calm, very focused, just looking at the performance. And so he makes his fellow players better. And to have this happen that quickly is really extraordinary, and that speaks dividend to the level that he has. Hello, Mr. Tuchel. Harry Kane had his third hat-trick in the Bundesliga. In the league now, he has 15 goals in 10 games. Were you expecting him to start that way? And what are your tips as far as looking for an apartment is concerned? Well, he has 4 kids and a couple of nannies, so it's not in my league, really. Well, were we expecting it? Well, you can rated highly enough, really. It's the first time that he changed clubs. He's leaving his country into a new league, into a new city. Not only to him, for his family as well. He's a family guy. He with his kids, his wife, and that is a huge step. To me, I always knew what he's able to do, and I never really doubted it, that he would be able to score goals and assist goals, that he can do it on any pitch in the world, because he has his own way to go about things, and he's been doing it for more than 10 years now, but still there are so many variables in those things that you really couldn't really tell that it would go the way he does. But if you work with him on a daily basis now, his personality and his love for the game and the love for the sport and the way he practices, and that he is a footballer at heart, and that is just great to see, and it's gonna stay that way. We had a bit of banter. We said that he's doing the things he always did in the past only, but he's a great personality, a great sportsman, and he's at the right place now, and it's not the end yet. Final two questions. Alex Pavlovic was introduced against Dortmund. He really stayed calm, won a couple of balls. He assisted a goal. Is he a player that can make his breakthrough? Not today or tomorrow, but will he be an alternative at the holding midfield role to start a game? Well, I think he is an alternative in midfield. Alex played sensationally well in our pre-season in Asia against difficult teams like City and Liverpool. I don't know exactly whether he played against Monaco, but every time he played, he was really performing well. In central midfield, then he had a really tough flu that really knocked him out for a couple of weeks. If it wasn't for that, he'd have lots more games under his belt already, but now he came back, he found his role in practice. He's a very clever player, strategic. He has that self-confidence that he gets out of the things that he does. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's a very clever player and strategic, and he's very diligent as well. He's a very nice guy. He brings positive energy to practice, and that's been the case last season as well when he was practicing with us, and it hasn't changed this season. He's got his feet on the ground still, and so I believe that he will make his way. I was very happy with his performance against Dortmund, and that's not going to be his last game, obviously. So now the final question. What will it mean if you would qualify for the round of 16 at game day 4, particularly keeping in mind that you've got personal problems with that slim squad? Well, that is obviously our wish, but because I believe that the group stages are always difficult, so we want to qualify as early as possible for the round of 16 and the knockout stages, and that would be very important for us. And we know that it's going to be a next difficult step tomorrow, but if we make it, we'll still keep the hunger, we still want to earn points. That is the European stage in football. Every player wants to play there. Every kid in front of the television wants to be a part of that one day. So we will never give up games or not rate those Champions League games highly, even though we might be qualified. But before we will talk about that, we have to focus on tomorrow. It's going to be a tough game, and we have to reach our limit and make the performance that we've shown in the league and in the past games, and that is the first step, and hopefully we will be able to do that. Thank you very much. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you. See you tomorrow.